Did you have the idea of getting a dog and going for long, calm walks out in the sunshine and enjoying life together? But right now they're leaving you a little bit stressed out and you're not really sure how to make it any better? Welcome to the 30-day loose leash walking challenge, where you're going to learn the skills to create a more cooperative, relaxing, and enjoyable walk experience for both you and your dog. My name is Kristen from Salty Pack, and I've been training dogs now for about 6 years. I've trained hundreds of dogs and owners how to get that nice loose leash walk that seems like a dream and make it become a reality. So how did we get here? Why do dogs pull in the first place? Most of the time people come to me and they've been having a bit of pulling that's been happening on the leash for the dogs for quite a long time. And it does seem like, man, they just should figure it out. It seems so uncomfortable. Unfortunately, for most people, when we start to work with them, it's the sad reality that we might have accidentally taught our dogs how to pull on the leash. So what we're going to be learning in this 30-day challenge is why dogs pull and how we can communicate better with them that we actually don't want them pulling. So some things to expect out of this challenge. The first couple weeks is mostly working on your skills as a handler. It almost always comes down to us, unfortunately, but we will be building up quite a lot of motivation for your dog. So definitely the best place to start any good training journey is to build up motivation. Most of our training is going to involve some sort of food-based learning if we're teaching the dog any new skills. So if you don't have a particularly food-motivated dog at the moment anyways, just look in the description. We're going to have a free PDF that is going to talk about building food and play motivation. Now, for the first couple weeks, because it is so handler focused, just be prepared that we might not be going for those walks that you think is going to be, giving your dog the full outlet. What we're also going to be learning as part of this leash walking challenge is there's more to fulfillment for the dog than just going for a walk. So a lot of play is going to be involved, and in the first couple weeks, if the dogs aren't getting out as often as they used to, because we're going to be practicing better skills, make sure that we're supplementing some of their mental and physical work by being creative at home. So again, you can play, you can do some sniffy games, anything that kind of gets your dog to have a bit of that mental and physical outlet. How the 30 days of the videos are going to look for you is we're going to have a little bit of an intro for all of you verbal learners. I'm going to try and do a bit of an explanation before we look at our demonstration dogs. I've made a big effort to really try and show you mostly pet dogs, as I assume that's why most of you guys are here. I have 3 dogs myself. This is Bear, he's 14. I also have Artie, the 3-year-old Belgian Malinois, and a 10-year-old Border Collie. I could be doing a lot of demonstrations with them, but what I really wanted to show you was real life pet dogs, which is going to be more attuned to what you probably have right now. Many of you who are here probably have maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 dogs or more. What this challenge is meant for is just exercises one-on-one with your dog. So if you do have more than 1 dog and would like to do the challenge with both dogs, I would really highly recommend to develop your skill with each individual dog before we put them together. So like I mentioned earlier, part of this loose leash walking challenge is going to involve a little bit of play with your dog. Play can be super important, and as humans, we do grow out of play. But again, my 14-year-old Border Collie Bear would still get super riled up if we get a toy out now. So really, dogs don't necessarily grow out of play. Play is something that is super important as part of their genetic fulfillment for so many dogs. And again, we'll get into little nuances with play. So if you have a dog that might not be super playful, again, check that PDF that's going to be in the description to start to build your food and play drive for your dog. Now, it's not necessary, but probably we're going to be suggesting that you might look at changing the equipment that you've been on with your dog. I assume that you're probably not here because we have nice leash walks, right? It's probably because your dog has some sort of pulling tendencies. For a lot of people, just changing up the equipment can give you a fresh start. So we talk a lot about how the dog perceives pressure on the different equipment. And if they have quite a lot of history pulling through, say a flat collar or a harness, we can recover some of the pressure and communication that we can give them, but it is a lot easier if we look at using a different piece of equipment. We've made a big breakdown on how different pieces of equipment can work for your dog. So again, I'll link that in the description as well too, that you can watch that video. And if you are interested in using a halty or some sort of transitional slip leash over the nose, or just a slip leash itself, we do have some getting started with those equipment videos that you can watch before the challenge as well too. Because we are going to be using quite a lot of food rewards for your dogs, we really recommend using the daily allowance of the breakfast or dinner that you're going to be giving them anyways. So in many of the videos, we remind you to grab maybe what they're already going to be allocated for their diet for the day, and just put that in a treat pouch or your pocket. This is so that we're not giving extra kind of like treats on top, and it just makes it super easy that you don't necessarily have to measure out everything. What it also does is your dog has to eat anyways. They might as well eat working with you. Work kind of feels like a little bit of a funny word. I think some people don't want their dogs to work for things, but dogs really do enjoy having a little bit of the mental stimulation of how can I get this thing from, my mom or dad. So most dogs will really enjoy when you tip that the bowl into your treat pouch or your pocket, and then kind of get to work on a little bit of that collaborative relationship that they probably want from you anyways. Many of you guys watching are going to have life outside of your dogs. Go figure. We sometimes talk about perfect world versus reality. Perfect world means we have all the time, money, resources, energy for our dogs, but we all live in reality. There's stuff that goes on. So if you miss a day with the challenge, it's not a problem. There's maybe even going to be a couple of days that you might want to stay on that day for the exercises, just to make sure that you have a full comprehension of it. And that's totally fine too. If you are here as the videos are releasing, don't worry, they'll just be released by the time that you are ready to go to the next day. And if you're here after they've already been released, again, you have no rush to get through anything. So if you miss a day, it's not a problem. Most of the different days that we have set up for the exercises, most of them do kind of work as a succinct, like this, then that, then that. But again, we might have some play breaks and things here and there. So no problems to miss a day, life happens. If you did want to do something today because you are just super excited to get started, there's a couple of videos that you can watch, again, that I'll link in the description below. The best one definitely that I would recommend to almost everybody is looking at the layered stress model. It'll make more sense once we get there, but the leash and the triggers sit much higher up in terms of the problems that we might be having for our dog. So there's a lot of considerations that I'd like you to take before we even look at building some leash and leash communication, particularly around triggers for your dog. But like any good kind of before and after, if you did want to go for just a quick walk with your dog, maybe have somebody film your before video, just so that you can look back on some of the progress. Another thing that could be really important for you guys as part of this challenge is, as much as you can, that's not going to distract you from doing the exercises that we provide, but try and film a lot of your sessions. The value of filming cannot be understated in dog training. It feels like things are going to come very naturally, but a lot of times some of the things that we are doing is going to be outside of what you have been doing, so inherently it's going to be a little bit awkward. So if things aren't going according to plan, please always reach out. I'm more than happy to help, particularly if I have video feedback or video, then I can give much better feedback for what's going on as well too. Another really good thing that you could be doing today as well is seeing if you can grab your partner or a friend of some sort and explain to them exactly what you want out of your loose leash walking. So we kind of have this dead man's test in dog training. So you can't just say not pulling because a dead man can do it. It's a weird analogy to kind of think about. What I want you to think about is, what do you want your dog to do? Do you want them to be more responsive? How many check-ins do you want with them? No polling can be part of your criteria, but what do you want them doing on your walk? It's kind of a funny thing to think about. So we are very verbal creatures. In the next 30 days, you're going to see how many words I can use for dog training. I do really enjoy teaching. So we are very verbal creatures. And if we could be able to say, hey, Fido, when we go for a walk, I would really love it if you did X, Y, Z. You wouldn't need me if that was the case. Dogs learn through tactile communication, body language, emotional feedback. So there's a lot of different ways that they can learn from us, but verbally is not generally one of them. But that's usually what we fall back to, being human beings. So try and explain it to your friend or partner verbally, and then we will learn how to be able to give that criteria to your dogs through the communication tactics that we're going to be learning throughout this challenge. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to share this 30-day loose leash walking challenge with you guys. I am very humbled that you have chosen to learn from me, Kristen, from Salty Pack. I can't wait to see the results at the end, so make sure to film your sessions and have fun with your dog. Thanks for watching today's video. My name is Kristen from Salty Pack. If you're looking for any individualized help with your dog, either in person or virtually, you can find us at saltypack.com.au, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at saltypackdogs. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.